Hey everyone, Keeper here. The holidays are coming to an end, and since there hasn't been any real events recently, any major events recently that I'm aware of, or at least that MTG Top 8 has posted any deck lists for, I thought I'd hit up today with a deck list from Mythic Championship 7. I wanted to do this one at the time when Mythic Championship was fresh off the block and people's thoughts were still on it, but I ended up doing a bunch of other different decks, and this one kind of got left behind. So I think now is a great time to come back to it. It is the list that Ben Stark played at Mythic Championship 7. It is Azorius Control. It's what's wrong with my mouse here? All right, here we go. It is loaded up with the classic control elements, board wipes, lots of board wipes, some card draw, bunch of counter spells, bounce spell slash aggro, Teferi, and it also runs 3 Gadwicks, which I love because it's both card draw and can finish up a game on itself while still controlling because of its ability to tap permanents, non-land permanents on my opponent's board, ensuring or helping to stave off aggro decks in a reasonable fashion. It also has the one card that I first loved and still kind of do that came out from War of the Spark, and I play this card in so many of my decks. It wasn't even funny. It was a Finale of Revelation. It is by far one of my favorite cards from War of the Spark, and casting this card always brings me so much joy. It also has a decent sideboard. I haven't touched the list from the event, which probably is a bad idea. The meta has probably adjusted. There was a Magic Fest in Portland. It has a bunch of aggro lists. It's got Rakdos aggro in the top 8, and it's got some Simic Flash lists. It's got like a single Jeskai Fires list. Maybe I should adjust the sideboard. Maybe this deck isn't really good for the current meta, but I still want to play it and I still want to have some fun with it. But it has Devout Decree, great for taking care of Cauldron Familiars and anything Jun's doing these days, to be honest. Glass Casket is a good answer for creatures as well. Mystical Dispute. Mystical Disputes against Simic Flash decks, or even Izzet Flash decks. I've not really seen many of those lately, but still good. And just a decent counterspell to have in a pinch, I guess. A third, or is it a fourth time wipe? It is a third time wipe. And a fourth Planar Cleansing? A fourth Planar Cleansing. This is what I get for not looking to lists beforehand. Giant Killer also has some potential for creature destruction and a tapper, I guess. But I'm guessing it's played more for the creature destruction part at the end of the day than it is so much. Maybe I guess as a blocker, it probably does a good job as a blocker against some of the smaller aggro decks, but probably not as good against the bigger aggro decks. Still, seems like a good card that I've never actually had a chance to play with, so looking for an opportunity this time. And to do that, instead of the best of one that I usually play, today I'm going to be playing some best of 3. I think my last serious video, not counting the historic artisan video, was best of 3. I think it was the Jeskai control list. I'm pretty sure that was the last deck I played. And I've always enjoyed best of 3. Realistically, we didn't call it best of 3 because it's just friends mashing a bunch of games until we got tired of playing. But sideboarded games are always a lot more fun than non-sideboarded games because it gives you a slightly better opportunity at actually winning the game. So, as you can see, I am still in gold. Hopefully we can change that with some Azorius control. I will go on the play. I will lead with a Tranquil Grove though. Cove, not Grove. But otherwise this hand actually looks pretty good. It's got an opt. Got some... Maybe it could have used more lands, but it's got the opt to dig for lands. And I am on the place, which should end up helping. Alright, Pellet Collector. I'm going to leave up all my things. It is a control deck. You usually try to do things on your opponent's turn to the best of your ability, and this is obviously no exception. Okay. Oh, he does. Okay, so it's Gruul aggro here, and my opponent is probably going to swing in with his Pellet Collector. And do I want to deal with this now? No, I'm just going to take the 1 and opt to try and hit a land drop here. I feel like I'll definitely take this Fabled Passage and play this Hallowed Fountain first. Yeah. Go right ahead and put that into play tapped. And say go. A sick go. Do I want to deal with this? Actually, I do. I am going to put that on top of my opponent's library. There's a good chance that they will attempt to cast Heart's Desire again, and I can Dovin's Veto that, as opposed to letting it resolve at all. Especially if they have land number 4, they'll... Oh, no, they still went for it. Alright, well, I'm going to Dovin's Veto that this time. Okay, I'm gonna opt here. Yeah, I'll take that. I would like to find, ideally, something like a time wipe off the top would be good. I'm gonna crack this now. That is not a time wipe. I will... If I wait for my opponent's turn, I can't bounce that Spellbreaker. So I'm going to do that now. And then say go. Because that way I can tie up their turn and also bounce this Pellet Collector when that Spellbreaker comes back down. Mostly it's just to tie up their mana. Oh, they're passing to attackers. Okay. I'll take the 1. It's not ideal, but I'm getting kind of low on health, and I'd very much rather not. Okay. A time wipe off the top would be perfect here. That is not a time wipe. So, what I can do here, my opponent's got 7 at least, plus whatever they've got in hands. I'm gonna put down a blocker, draw 2 with Gadwick. Hopefully I can find myself a time wipe. That is not a time wipe. I need a reset. They could have... Yeah, Questing Beast is something I feared. Okay, can't really trade for anything here. So I'm just going to block the Questing Beast, I suppose. Doesn't really make much of a difference. That is still not a time wipe. Let's see what we can... Absorb isn't going to do it. Find me a sweeper. That's not a sweeper. That isn't a sweeper, and that is lethal. So see here. No, that's not gonna do it. Alright. Alright. Let's go to sideboarding. See if we can't skew this in our favor here. I think I am going to add the giant killer here. Help take care of that questing beast. Going to add a third time wipe. I'm going to cut this finale. Cut a veto. What else could I add? Realistically, could I exile target creature and control convert mana cost 3 or less? No. Cleansing. No. Brazen Borrower doesn't really block anything here. I suppose this could be good for like Gruul Spellbreakers, but no, I'm just gonna leave it as is. Yeah, that looks good to me. I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm not. So I'd really like to get out of gold at some point. Alright, on the play. This, wow, okay. Maybe I should mulligan this, but I'm not going to. Mostly because it's got... No, actually I'm going to mulligan. It's got nothing. That looks better. That looks relatively better. I'm going to keep 6. And I'm going to lead with the fountain here. Alright. Castle Ventress. Okay. This isn't the worst possible outcome. I think. I would very much prefer not to take a bunch of damage, but I am likely going to take a bunch of damage here. I'm going to cast Chemister's Insight at my opponent's end step. Hopefully I can get them to commit a few more creatures to this board. Would be nice. Might not happen. They know the time wipe is coming. Oh, shifting Ceratops. Yeah. Thankfully... Wow, I got all my Castle Vantresses. That's not how that works. So the protection from blue doesn't get around board wipes, which is good. I am at 11. Okay. I do have, yeah, wow, okay. That is a lot of land. Do I really want to Planar Cleansing here? If they have Questing Beast, I'm doomed. What else? Stomp plus Questing Beast. Can I really take another 3 points of damage here? They got another Gruul Spellbreaker. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bite this. Stomp. Okay. Questing Beast is game here. I guess I don't have Questing Beast. Stomp is game. Well, Stomp's not game, but it's close enough to game. Right. What else do you have? Let's go digging. See if I can find something to save myself with. Not what I wanted to see. I've drawn a lot of lands this game. Okay. All right. Four. Gotta trust that I can find something off the top here. Or I am... Alright. I can tap on my opponent's combat. It's the Rimrock Knight here that I need to worry about. Sure. Wow, though these are, I don't know, these are some pretty bad draws here. Okay, avoided that attack phase there. What else we got? Paradise Druid, yep. I will opt another Aether Gust. No, I don't want another Aether Gust. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I am going to Gadwick for 3. Nah. 2. All right. Yes. That is going to resolve. And I know I can't bounce. Oh, nice. Teferi's good here. I know I can't bounce that until they, or I can't deal with that until they attack the Paradise Druid, but that will work for me. Once they tap that, I can Aether Gust the Druid. I do have a lot of mana. That is a lot of mana. Alright. I'm going to kill that. Oh, it's an instant chop down. Oh, nice. Okay. And I still lose to Questing Beast here, big time. So I'm just gonna say go. Yeah, I did not realize that that was an instant. And that's why it's a good answer for Questing Beast. Huh. There it is. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, that does mean game. Yeah. Questing Beast off the top. That was a bad misplay. I did not realize that cast down was an instant. No, I know. All right. Oh wow, that is an awful hand. I am going to mulligan that. Wow, that's not much better. Jeez. Alright, well. I guess I should have kept that 7. Wow. That was actually a lucky draw there. This is probably, yeah, probably Jund is my guess. Jund sacrifice. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna bounce that Mayhem Devil because now they don't have any food to recast it. Okay. I'm gonna keep this absorb open so I can deal with that. Oh well, they're not gonna cast the Mayhem Devil, so there's that. Sure thing. Unless I have red. No, another Gilded Goose works too. Would like to see either a Planar Cleansing or Time Wipe off the top would be ideal. As neither of those things. Oh, Planar Cleansing. Nice. Now if only I could get the 6th land. That is the 6th land. Do I want to cast No, I'm not going to cast Gadwick here. I'm going to leave up the Absorb and say go.
I've got time.
They'll probably try to kill my Teferi, which is likely the correct move here. Okay. Actually, I'm going to let that resolve because I'm just going to Planar Cleansing it all away. Oh. Okay. I suppose they could crack that, but then they can't pay for the Trail of Crumbs, so I'm just gonna go ahead and clear the board. And maybe that's an issue. Yeah, they can. Oh wait, yeah, they can. Okay, because they, instead of gaining life, right, that's how that works. Yep. Oh wait, they made food? Okay. That was an odd play, but I suppose that makes sense. Oh nice, found a mountain. That gives a window to, oh, Koval. Fae Cursed King. That's scary. But yet... 2. Oops. Nice. Next. I'm gonna wait until they attack and sacrifice a permanent before I Aether Gust that. Got this right, yeah. I suppose I could take some damage from it, but I'm not going to. Resolve. It doesn't really matter what it taps, because it's already tapped, so. I suppose if they have a mountain, they can replay that, but they don't. Okay, less of a problem. I'm going to cast Teferi, leave up Absorb. So 0. That's a good draw. And end the turn. The question is, well, I'm going to absorb that. Sure, that actually bothers me a lot less. I'm not going to bounce it because then they'll just, well, I could and then just absorb it on the way back down, but I'd rather not.
Here goes nothing.
I guess I will. If they recast it, I can absorb it, and that stops them from casting Koval. And I can also put this Brazen Borrower on the board. If they opt to go with Koval, I can absorb that too. My options aren't great, but I still have some. Yeah.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
They can kill my Teferi here. Casualties of war. Sure. Do I want this time wipe? No, I don't want this time wipe. Sure, that resolves. Massacre Girl. Oh, that's vicious. Okay, I will draw this Dovin's Veto though. Thrashing Brontodon. Of course, that resolves. So I'm gonna scry it my opponent's turn here. Murderous Rider. Massacre Girl. Oh, Massacre Girl. Alright. I totally expected the Murderous Rider to come down instead. But that is cool too. Do I want both? Actually, I do think I want both. Let me see here. 2, 3, 3. Swing in with Brazen Borrower. If they try to swift end something, no, that resolves. I can tap it. Okay. I do have a considerable amount of life, so I should be safe here. And this solves that problem. Means that I have lethal on the board unless they sacrifice a creature here. Let's start off by attacking. That doesn't matter. Resolves.
Stand by and watch. I can do that.
And churn. Okay, now I can Dovin's Veto that Witch's Oven, tapping the Thrashing Brontodon. Or I can Aether Gust the Thrashing Brontodon. Either way, I can protect that Teferi. Or I can just Dovin's Veto this Casualties of War and tap that. Either or works perfectly for me. I am going to put in the 4th because Witch's Oven is a heck of a card once it gets going. The Devout Decrees are good. Deal with some of that stuff. What am I going to take out here? The Finale. Aether Gust. Or 2. No, I'm going to put one back. Take out 2 ops. 2 ops. Not entirely sure how to sideboard here against a Gen Sacrifice / Trail of Crumbs here, but I feel like Planar Cleansing is crucial either way. Yeah, the more of those I have, the happier I'll be. Alright. Looks like my opponent is on the play. This is an awful hand. This is better. I will keep. I will. Yes. Lead with Cove. I keep calling it Grove. It's Cove. Dovin's Veto turn 2, I guess, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have any targets for it. Maybe I should have put back the Absorb and kept the second Hallowed Fountain. Okay. Okay. Witch's Oven. Oh wow, double Witch's Oven. Planar Cleansing would be... Now if only I could get the mana to cast it. Now I just have to survive till I have 6 mana, and I should be okay. Blood Crypt tapped. Let's go with... I am going to leave up the Absorb here. Is my opponent going to oh. Looks like my opponent was about to sacrifice their Gilded Goose. So they have 4 or 5 mana, 5 mana. If this is Kovold, nope. 4 mana, nothing. Alright. Fabled Passage, and I'm going to continue to leave up the Absorb here. Yes, that is a lot of food. If they don't do anything worthwhile here, I'll just Chemister's Insight end of turn. Gilded Goose, doesn't matter. It's a lot of, that is a lot of food. No swing with the Gilded Goose, alright. I will grab a Plains to make sure I have 3 white sources for this Planar Cleansing. Oh. Definitely gonna have those. Gonna shock in this Hallowed Fountain. And a Sego. This leaves up Absorb and Dovin's Veto, and if nothing else, Chemister's Insight with Opt as well. What does my opponent have? Nothing in hand? Okay, well, I'm gonna Opt here. See what I hit. Devout Decree. I'm gonna take that. Do I want to Chemister's Insight? Actually, no. I'm gonna call that. Is this the time to Planar Cleansing? That would leave him with 6 mana. No, this is not the time to Planar Cleansing. Castle and Sego. Actually, no. I'm gonna put down Teferi. I'll still have Absorb up, so that's all right. And I can Devout Decree at instant speed if necessary. I think my opponent might have. Oh no, they're still here. Teferi. +1 and Sego.
Like it.
Yep. And now, if I can untap with Teferi, Duress. Okay. No. Unless you have another one. In which case, okay. If I can untap with Teferi, I will Planar Cleansing at the end of their next turn. I guess I can untap with Teferi. Fair enough. What do they have in hand? So they're down to 1 mana. I could just exile the Murderous Strider and leave up the Absorb. Alright. I don't know what they have in hand, and I'm hesitant to board wipe right now. So I'm just going to say go. Because they could have something big in hand. I mean, I do have a time wipe as well, but I'd still rather not. Okay, they play a land. I'm going to discard this island here. Five, 6, 7, 8, 6. No, I'm just going to say go. I've got Brazen Borrower, I got Absorb up. The next turn I can leave up Absorb along with Planar Cleansing, which is, I suppose, the ideal. Okay, my opponent's got nothing. Sure. I suppose I could gain a bunch of life here. That's probably the best they can do. And I'll still have Absorb mana up. They could go. They could sacrifice the geese, I guess. That wouldn't make sense. Sure. Doesn't really accomplish much, but there we go. Gilded Goose is fine. And I am going to just play the Brazen Borrower here. I'm not going to bother with the petty thefts. Sure. Countering it doesn't actually accomplish anything. What I need here, since they don't have any Witch's Ovens available, is to find another Planar Cleansing or something of that nature. Make a token. I either need Planar Cleansing or Devout Decree, something to get rid of that Cauldron Familiar now, but still dealing some damage here. Okay. Alright, that's good. That's what I want to see. That or a Gadwick would be nice too. I don't even want to cast this now. Teferi Devout Decree would be perfect. Sorry, Teferi Planar Cleansing would be the ideal. My opponent has 3 cards in hand. I don't know what they've been holding on to for this long. But that's not going to resolve. Yeah, I'll take the 1 damage here. I want to Chemister's Insight. Okay. They don't have a sack outlet. I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana. I'm gonna pitch this time wipe. That leaves them without food to cast or to bring back the Cauldron Familiar. So even if they do make more food, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Do I... No, I'm just going to leave up the absorbs. For all I know, they could have just a bunch of land in hand. But I'd still rather not chance it. Alright. Gadwick for 3, leave up double absorb. Yes, that is reasonable. Leave absorb, have devout decree to deal with that Cauldron Familiar. Got a bunch of little options here. Am I really going to absorb this? Yeah, I am. Keeping that oven off the field seems important to me. Keeping that off the field is really important to me. I do not wish to see that. Oh wow, okay. Okay. Really gone deep here. And Chadwick for 3. And that's it. Say go. Lands. Absorb the Corvald. Yeah. Get the aggro going here. Oh, wow. Alright. I would have liked to see it Teferi, but I guess it's not in the cards. They're going to take the absorb anyway, so might as well leave them guessing. Sure. That is a big boy. Sure. Ideally, they'll attack with this Beanstalk Giant. Perfect. Okay. Good call. It was a smart decision. So I'm going to get rid of this. Bounce that. And if I'm not mistaken, swing for lethal. Unless something funky happens here. Okay, that's not too bad. But that is an hour-long video, so I am going to call it here. One of the downsides of playing best of 3, I suppose. Oh, Lazotop plating, Lazotep plating. That's good. Taking another quick look at the Stark list. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I accidentally clicked on. What did I click on accidentally? Oh, historic mono red. Nice. All right. Edit the deck. Overall, it does what it's supposed to do. I think that it could use some Narsets somewhere in the 75. Would be good for both digging for answers and dealing with opponent's card draw. But Gadwick is a powerhouse. I find that I have to cut Finale of Revelation more often than not. It's not the ideal card after sideboard in most scenarios. Planar Cleansing seems to do wonders against the various sacrifice decks. I've played this in the past before, and I've enjoyed it. Mostly against cat decks, but so I wasn't sure how I was going to do against other decks in the meta. But overall, it seems like a solid card, a solid deck for the current ranked meta, I suppose. The Narsets might be the one thing I would add somewhere here in the 75. Maybe main board. There might be a few other cards. I haven't really been too attuned with what's going on in the meta right now, but there might be a few other cards that might be better off in this deck, and some that might be able to go now. The Aether Gust still seems like it's a very good card to have around. There's still plenty of questing beasts, which I suppose that if I had actually read Chop Down, I would have realized that that's the answer for questing beasts. It's a perfect answer for questing beast. Chop Down on 3 against questing beast on 4. Other than that, yeah, it does its job as a control deck. It's got some fun win conditions. Gadwick is a good one with all the card draw. Obviously, Brazen Borrower is good too. Yeah, I like this deck. This deck is fun. Hopefully, it's something that I can start seeing more of in the meta. It's currently not very represented from what I've seen from the Magic Fest Portland event, where it was mostly just. Well, I only saw the deck list from the top 8, but it was just Rakdos Aggro and Simic Flash. So, yeah, hopefully this deck can get some traction, and so we can have a nice Azorius or a nice control deck just in general in the meta, which doesn't seem to be really there lately. The aggro controls like Simic Flash are good, but it's not the same thing, in my opinion. And Is It Flash too? They're both pretty aggressive control decks, if you can put them that way. But yeah, overall, fun. So if you liked it, please hit that like button. I'd appreciate that. Subscribe is always is always good and always helpful. I'd also appreciate that very much. And yeah, hope you guys had good holidays, and I'll see you next video.